Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here to look at teas from different areas, from different kinds. This is a kind that doesn't get a lot of press out there, really, as far as press in the U.S. But this is a dancong, which is a kind of oolong from southern China or more southern regions of China, which again is not an area that you first hear about. I mean, you hear about Fujian, but this is actually from Guangdong province, which is down closer to Hong Kong, Guangzhou, southern China there. A strong tea tradition, and I'm going to go ahead as I'm talking here to kind of get this tea ready to go. And I'm using my finger just kind of rake out enough of this tea, and you're going to see these leaves fall. They're pretty substantial sized leaves. I'm going to cover the bottom 1.5 inches so this guy one, and that looks good. So let me set that aside and get this water poured here. I want to make sure I get all my leaves coated in water. Don't have little dry pieces floating at the top of the surface of the water. Looks good. Set this kettle out of the way. Get the lid on here so this will have some time to steep. Kind of swirling around using the lid to push the leaves into the middle so they don't get caught under the rim there. It looks good. Now, as I was saying, this tea from Guangdong province in China. Let's talk about this tea. This is XueLanXiang, XueLan meaning snow orchid, Xiang meaning a fragrance. So this is a kind of these particular oolongs, dansongs is what they're called. Dansong oolongs often have names that indicate what kind of aromas or flavors are associated with this tea. And this one in particular has an orchid, a snow orchid type flavor to it. Others can have more of a peach. Some of them I've seen say almond. There are several that can come that are related to that. So 7Cups. This is their snow orchid dansong from 2010 harvest. 50 grams available for $12.90. This is from the Chaozhou area, like I mentioned, in Guangdong province. This 7Cups goes into a lot of detail to really get back to the source of the tea. So they can even tell you the tea master who developed this tea or who processed this tea. Ye Hanzhong was his name, and I'm wondering if that's the first name, how should I say, given name first instead of the reverse there. But harvest is from mid-March. The harvest time was mid-March of 2010. And so yeah, there's a lot of information about this tea. You can go on their website. It gives a little bit more as well beyond what I've just given. Let's go ahead and look at this dry leaf and talk about it some then. Dansongs often come from fairly old trees, in that there's a lot of there can be a lot of focus on this particular tree is a daughter of that particular tree. There's a lot of kind of family heritage related to a tree, and the fragrances and the characteristics that come off of those leaves. So this particular leaf is a nice kind of again, that kind of gray brown type color. Fairly a nice, I'd say a good consistency of the color, of the brightness of the leaf. It's not like exactly shiny or glossy by any means, but again, not dull or flat. Leaf sizes, in this particular hand scoop I've got in my hand, smaller sizes, although there are some that are 1 inch or so in length. I've seen full-size intact leaves that are even longer than 1 inch. So you get lots of sizes, and you see that they are crinkled down the length of the vein in most cases. Okay. So not going to spend a whole lot of time looking at this leaf. Just that you will notice that these are not crumpled or bald like a lot of say other oolongs, especially like a Taiwanese or a lot of your Taiwanese style that are bald or rolled. These are more longer, spindly looking types. Okay, let me try to work those back into the bag here. Looks good. Seal that up again. You know what? I didn't really talk about the aroma, so I should get into a little bit of just the aroma here. Now, this one in particular, I'm finding that if I exhale a little bit of warm, moist air, really draws out the aroma. And you're getting a little bit of a honey. You're getting a little bit of a heat note there. Not graham cracker, more like almost like a cherry cobbler. There's a bait, or not a cherry, but well, yeah, actually there's a little bit of a cobbler, something with a nice, or a pie, something with a nice kind of brown crust on top. Got those toasted roasted, baked aspects. Underneath, a little bit of that fruity, juicy, either peach, possibly cherry, you may detect. Okay, so that's nice. It's got some sweet, some heat, well balanced, I should say. Now, going on then, talking about this liquor and the wet leaf and giving it a pour here. Let me angle my lid over to the side so I can pour this. And my middle finger there and thumb holding the bowl here. Nice smooth pour there. Get those last few drops out. And be able to talk a little bit about this wet leaf. Give it a smell first, see how it goes. Now, of course, the name implies there's an orchid type smell. Orchids, there's a wide range of orchids that can vary in smell, and I'm not going to try to identify which particular orchid or anything like that. But actually, I still get kind of baked peach is what I most easily recognize and more immediately recognize in this. It's sweet. It's again got the heat, the baked aspect, kind of if the natural sugars in the peach had been caramelized. If you took a peach and sliced it in half and put it on a grill for a short time and got a little bit of that kind of a crust built up on that surface as it was exposed to the heat. That's really what's coming out to me. Okay, so let me look at a few of these leaves. Let me get some of these pieces out of here and pull out these leaves. While they were, again, that browner gray when they were dry leaves, when you look at these wet leaves, you can see a lot of the green still there. I'm going to try to gently, actually, I wanted to unfurl this, but it's not going to unfurl very easily. This one looks like it's more than one leaf that got pressed together, rolled together. So let me just set that aside and move on and then talk about, there's a leaf portion, okay, about half of a leaf. Fairly, not as leathery, it's got a medium thickness, I would say. Looking at the stem here, looks like it's been, first reaction was there's a cut there. Here's another one that's still fairly wrapped or pressed, squeezed along the vein of the leaf. I'm trying to find some that, here's a piece that has opened up, again a little bit thicker. So for the most part, many of these leaves, okay, here's a more supple piece, fairly supple, nice and soft, got some elasticity to it. So for the most part, these leaves have not fully unfurled. They've got a good size to them. They are green, or at least olive green type of color. So a lot of the color came in, it looks like, more from the roasting than from any kind of blotchy oxidation process of changing of chemical component inside the leaf there. So let's move on then and talk a little bit about this liquor. Give it a pour and give it a look-see here. Nice honey color. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about many of the dancongs is that nice kind of reddish amber, deep head, thick, dark type of honey color as well. So that's nice. Good consistency going through it as well. I mean, you can see some fine elements, oils, and particulates floating in there, but it still looks very round, very warm in its appearance. There's now a lot of the aromas coming out in this liquor as well. Quite strong, especially compared to the wet leaf and the dry leaf. Nice. Closest thing again here is more of a peach to me. Not so much, really not as much of an almond type, or maybe, no, can't really, or almond oils, almond juices, no, not really. Let's go ahead and give it a try. You know, in the cup here, still nice, good, nice clarity. Okay, let's give it a try. Gonna give it another shot here. What you'll find about dancongs compared with other oolongs, a nice, generally a pleasant coating on the mouth, a nice silken texture. I notice generally more astringency in dancongs compared to many, say, tieguanins or other kinds of oolongs, but that astringency generally balances well with that silken texture and with a nice, when it's done right, a nice full aroma panoply there, so that you get those peachy type notes. There's something that's just kind of tart and tangy, like you've bitten into a fresh tart type of peach that is juicy as well. So your mouth reacts to this tartness, this tanginess, to this silken texture, and you just start to salivate, and it just kind of builds up on itself, amplifies itself, so that you get this nice peachy type texture, still tart type of sweetness here in the sides of your mouth, outside of your teeth, back of your jaw, under your tongue as well in the back. It just builds on this juicy type feel, and that's really the draw of a good dancong, or part of the draw at least, I should say. There's still a little bit of that honey aspect. If you had that grilled charred peach and you drizzle a little bit of honey on there, there's sweetness there, combined again with that tartness of a fresh tart peach. So looking at this tea as a whole, again, I have to give this one a pretty good score, because off-camera tastings, I steeped this more than once, got fairly consistent taste, consistent rewards after 3-4-ish steepings. So I would give this tea a 91. Nice, good qualities to it, good character. Some teas I've been able to draw a little bit more out of as far as the number of steepings than this one, but still good, nice rounded characteristics in this tea. So come back to Walker Tea Review, explore new teas, learn about some of the history and the people and the character of a tea as well.